Welcome to Stock Talk on May 2nd. It's currently 4:23 p.m. Eastern Time. Lots of tickers to go through, lots of stuff to go through. Let's get to it. SPY on the 180-day chart, tracking the S&P 500. Thank you for everyone's comments, by the way. It was very inspirational as we continue to dive deeper into the markets. Looking at SPY, we said that it has been making a lower high on the 180-day chart and that we have identified a resistance in the more near term around $268. We also know that there is a support at around 261.40. Why are these the resistance and the support points? The resistance area is because this is where we gapped down. The support area is where we gapped up. And you guys can see that based off what we talked about the past few days, we are fluctuating between these support and resistance points. That is not too unusual to see at this point. Note, yesterday we talked about market movers this week. Yesterday, the big market mover was Apple earnings. As Apple's earnings came out, which beat expectations, it pulled the NASDAQ higher. Looking at what happened today, wow, the NASDAQ closed lower. Well, what was the next market mover? It was the Fed meeting minutes that was released earlier today. And like I said earlier, this is why we don't take a trade, because there are these big market fluctuations that may occur. And you guys can see that on the 1-minute chart. We, in fact, did see high optimism or enthusiasm on the 1-minute chart up to around when the Fed released its minutes. And right then, it released, people digested the news, and we fell to an intraday low, pretty much almost to the low yesterday. What does that say for the markets moving forward? Well, remember, tomorrow we also have unemployment rate that will come out that may influence the markets once again early morning. So again, look out for these big market movers. One thing I'm looking for, will this support hold, right? The support is strong at 261.46. Is this support going to hold? That is the major question. Note that in the 1 year chart, right? On the 1 year chart, actually, you can see that on the 3-year chart, this is even clearer. We have a bear flag pattern. What is happening right now? Look at this. Big drop, slight recovery, big drop, slight recovery. This candle that's forming looks like it's about to start another big drop. Does it mean it will have to do that? No, it doesn't. But this is kind of concerning right now, especially when we talked about SPY's target. SPY's target was supposed to be around 271 to 272. Yes, it could still come up and retest this area in the next, let's say, 4 or 5 days, but as it moves lower, the long-term trend is more important. The 3-year trend obviously outweighs the 180-day trend. So the bear flag pattern outweighs the possibility of it moving higher. Let's talk about TVIX. So we see that TVIX, there were some large fluctuations in TVIX today, right? We dropped to 653. I remember someone on the comments on the YouTube section, like they were kind of nervous as TVIX was dropping, right? It dropped to 653, but look how fast it rebounded. It rebounded over $7, pretty much recovered all of its intraday losses, and it started even gaining higher, right? Higher than its previous close. That is quite incredible, just showing you how volatility can move so quickly. We know that TVIX, extending this line to the right, has a support around 676, right guys? Where are we right now? We're pretty much at the support. Is it surprising that we bounce off of the support? Again, I don't find it too surprising, but at the same time, realize that we can still easily fall below the support if the markets do push up. But if the markets start continuing this downtrend, this weekly downtrend that we're seeing, it breaks that support that we talked about on SPY. This is when we need to watch out. There's a possibility at that point when we can start shorting, right? We have a support right here. We have another support very close by around 258.50. As this line moves higher, these two lines at some point will converge. I don't think it's going to take that long for the bearish pattern to emerge. So just be on the lookout for that. I want to talk about a couple of things. 4/CL, which tracks crude oil futures. This has not changed. Remember yesterday we talked about a support at 67.42 for crude oil. We identified what kind of candlestick, what a possible reversal candlestick. And today we did see crude oil recover a bit to around 0.7%. Now, crude oil is still bullish, regardless of what you guys say. Crude oil is still bullish, and I think most of you guys do realize that crude oil is bullish, following GUSH, right? GUSH. You guys can see that GUSH went to 33.71. Let's take a look at its high. We once again exceeded our previous high on the 20-day chart, right, guys? What does that say once again for GUSH? Crude oil is still bullish. As a matter of fact, we closed around $33. If we can close above 33.50 consistently, that is another reason why crude oil can pull even higher. GUSH can pull to 34, 35, 36, etc. Does it mean it will have to happen? No, but we've tested this resistance so many times, you can imagine at some point that resistance could break. Looking at the 3-year trend for GUSH, we have talked about this lower high trend, but look at what's happening. We have a clear breakout of the downward trend on the weekly chart. Has the week ended yet? No, it hasn't, but so far as of today, we're still continuing the bullish trend. Look at the 180-day chart. We talked about a resistance at 33.54. Is it still acting as a resistance? Of course it is. So that is just something to watch out. This might not be the best entry point. We talked about the entry point yesterday when crude oil went back down to around $31. Are we going to enter when it's $32.91? No, right? You're entering at the resistance. Not a good sign. So once again, let's take a look at DRIP, which is the inverse of crude oil. So as GUSH is pulling up, DRIP is pulling down. What happened today? Is this a surprise? $8.03 as the new low. What kind of low is this? A 3-year low, right? This is pretty much how far my chart gets on the top. It can't go any more than 3 years. So, wow, you can't even see that. Okay, my bad. 1 year, right? It's continuing to decline. These boxes represent breaking major support points in which it keeps declining. Breaking the major support keeps declining. Breaking the major support keeps declining. Breaking the major support. This is what kind? Oh, this is like a downward consolidation. What is a downward consolidation? This is obviously a bearish pattern. GUSH is still bullish. Okay, so I don't have to go into that any further, right, guys? Because we talked about this over and over again. 4/GC tracks gold futures. We talked about a support of gold at 13.12. We do see this candle. This candle is at the support. Do we have a confirmation of a reversal just yet? Not yet. We are at the support once again. Yes, we have broken down the support, but we still have to wait and see for a possible gold reversal. Regardless, you guys can see that even though that we peaked, we also came down. JNUG was exceptionally bullish today. It went to $15.41. Right, guys? That is exceptionally bullish. We established pretty much another support at this area. So what does that mean for gold, right? All this means is that gold is making higher lows, and we are also making some higher highs. You can see that at this time, right, we peaked pretty much at the same area, but we are getting higher lows. That is a pretty bullish sign for gold. So you can imagine as 4/GC, if it does do a U-turn, what can we go in? JNUG, right? So that's something to look out for. I think someone wanted me to look at NUGT, which pretty much follows gold. So similar for NUGT. So here it is, right? We see the same pattern for NUGT, where we have a higher low. Right, guys? You guys can see that, right? Higher low. What does that say for gold? That's bullish for gold. Are we looking for an entry right now? Not yet, right? We had just a spike. I want to confirm, especially on JNUG, that this is in fact a support. If this is a support, I want it to retest at this point. You guys can see that this candle doesn't look too convincing. It pulled up and went all the way down. But regardless, we did have this bullish reversal. Let's wait and see before we get into an entry position into JNUG. You guys also talked about dust. So dust is pretty much the opposite of NUGT. So you guys can see that it is on a descending trend, right, guys? It's on a descending trend, and today it went down below its 50 SMA line. 50 SMA line. So this is not something that I would actively go in unless we do hit this support. Well, you guys, this is a descending trend actually. So actually, I wouldn't even go into this at this point. All right. So lastly, let's look at /NG, which tracks natural gas. We talked about natural gas having a support at 2.752, a resistance at 2.804. Is it surprising? Once again, yesterday we left off, remember talking about this? We left off at the resistance area. Today, we're leaving off at the support area. Markets are not, that unpredictable, right? It's no coincidence that we found some support once again for natural gas. So what does that mean for natural gas? Yes, DGAZ went up 4.71%. Remember, I told you guys that yesterday and today would have been a good DGAZ entry point because we were at pretty much near the bottom, right? We were near the bottom. Once again, what are we looking at now? Well, now we're looking at UGAZ as a potential good entry point. Looking at UGAZ, right, guys? We're basically at the support again around $55.90. We're looking for some sort of reversal. Does it have room to drop? Of course it has room to drop. It has room to drop to 53.39. Should we see? So once again, you guys need to test your patience. Is your risk to reward ratio worth it? 5%, 6%. Okay, that doesn't seem good. Let's say 5%, 3%. 2.5%. It's not too bad, but again, I don't, since we're in the mid area, I still want it to pull lower before investing because I still don't like these kind of odds because we are still a little higher up. You guys can see that on this trend, right? On this horizontal pattern, we're still on the midway, right? Even if it goes up, it's taking a pretty big chance. So this is not something I would take, but I am looking for UGAZ to come a little lower before buying in and getting our odds in our favor. Okay, let's take a look at a ton of tickers I have lined up. First up being Square. Square. Wow, did it miss earnings, right, guys? It missed earnings. Square fell back to its support, 45.50. What happened today? We hit a high of $50, dropped to 45.50 at the support. What does this mean for Square? Well, we just got to be careful because we do see, once again, the support is holding right now, even though the earnings came out. If you guys are still holding Square, we do not want to see a close or a daily close, as looking at the 1 year chart. We don't want to see. I'll show you guys the chart first before it comes up. So anyways, while this is loading, I want to thank everyone for all of your support. Thank you so much for your comments. I love it. This is fantastic. Look at the support, right? If it starts closing daily under like 44.34, that is obviously not a good sign. You can see that we have not closed under this area. And should it continue fall tomorrow, this is not a good trend. Which line is acting as a resistance? The green line. The 150 SMA has been acting as a resistance. This was a false breakout. You can see that. This acted as a resistance here. It acted as a resistance here. Okay, so if you're in Square, just be careful right now. This is not a very good pattern, especially we've been making lower highs with a constant support. The more we test the support, the more likely it will break and go on the downside. Okay, that's square for you guys. I want to talk about JCPenney. We talked about JCPenney at the support. It bounced 3 times. Look at that. I told you guys JCPenney at this area, right? On these days, actually on this day when it dropped like 7%, I said, look out for a reversal because we're really close to the support. We're on the path back up. Are we going to take a buy shot now? No, we're not going to take a buy shot now because our potential for profit pretty much is the same as the potential for loss. This is not a good time to take a JCPenney trade, but I just want to show you that supports technical analysis does work. Looking at LABU, you guys want to talk about this one. LABU is making lower highs, right? But at the same time, we're seeing some consolidation at this area. Remember, LABU does track biotech, so we are pretty much, if you guys just take a look at this bullish trend, right, we're pretty much in the middle. I don't really want to take a chance. I want it to go lower, secure my position before investing in LABU, right? So right now, not yet. Even if it goes up, I wouldn't really care too much, especially as SPY is moving. There's a huge potential for SPY to move down. There's a potential for LABU to retest the support. So right now, LABU is not a play for me. All right, SOXL. So this one tracks, this is the semiconductors. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty nice pattern. I like the semiconductor having a support at 122.34. So let's draw that line in. Right, there it is. But what do we see? We don't see any signs of a reversal just yet. We actually do see just a test of the support. Yes, the support has held, but this is one where we want to look at the 1-year chart and take a look, right? We're consolidating at this area. No sign of reversal yet, but when it does hit around the 20 EMA, or the light blue line, that is a possible entry point for SOXL. Now I'm kind of curious because let me see how NVIDIA's pattern looks at. Yeah, it kind of looks similar. Down support, and then SOXL has a similar pattern. Similar, kind of. Yeah, so not an entry point right now, but I do like the call out. So let me put SOXL into my prospective list. So thank you very much. And NAIL, nail, you guys talked about this, right? We have a clear support around, what price, guys? 57.80, around that point. Okay, I have to make this perfect. You guys know that. Okay, you know, the graph is just tricking me now, so I'm just going to put the line here. But yeah, we have a support here. One thing to keep in note is what is happening, right? This 1 year, a 50 SMA line has been acting as a resistance. Look at this. Resistance, resistance, resistance. So we've tested the support many times. We're looking for a break over, a clear break over 20 EMA. What's a clear break over 20 EMA? I do want to see 2 daily closes over the 20 EMA before potentially investing in this ETF, right? We have this descending trend. Let's not take the chance just yet. Let's wait for a confirmation. Good call out. This one will also go into my watch list. Next one is FTX. Oh, don't have it. Maybe I wrote it down wrong again. HTBX. Yeah, I looked at this one yesterday while you guys were calling it out, right? You guys, I think one of you guys were like, can you give me an assessment right now before tomorrow's daily open? Should I go into HTBX, which is a biologics company? So what do biologic companies kind of make? They make cancer drugs. Or so if they get, let's just say FDA approval, well, all of a sudden we have a massive spike. You can imagine it went from $2.26 to $4.30. That's like over a 90% spike, right? Is that ever going to hold up? I don't think so. You know, people like to sell on news, and in fact, look at this massive sell-off that occurred. Yesterday, I even typed in the comment section on the YouTube page. I think I was like, I would not buy into HTBX right now. This is a biologics company. FDA approval, dies on news really quickly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, you know, it might not reach back to $1. It's low, but there's a potential of it to keep going down. It went down 40% today. Why would you ever, go into that? IRT. Let's take a look at the ticker IRT. So, as this loads, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys had a good day. These markets, we just have to monitor what are the major market movers. The support and the resistance areas are all very critical to find our best entry or exit points. So it looks like my charts won't load, or my internet's gone. So I will tackle IRT, SEDG, and KEM in tomorrow's video. So sorry for this not working. I'll fix my internet. But in the meantime, thank you everyone for watching. Like if you like this video. If you didn't like it, I hope you like it in the future. I will see you tomorrow for another stock talk. Remember, unemployment rates come out tomorrow, which may put another move in the markets. Not a major move, but a move in the markets, especially during early market hours. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day and happy trading.